Making a video. I guess it's an Inmendham video. Might as well. Only a few days left in the strike Jeopardy thing, so we'll take a chance. And I'll keep my mood mellow, even though I'm responding to a complete asshole. Yes, Eef. Creepy. Let's just background this whatever this guy is. Quint KKK 3 KKK KKK KKK. Yeah, probably not an accident. Anyway, hiding. He's double hiding. He has 2 sheets. Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, his arguments are this, just the argument from I'm going to claim hypocrisy because you said you don't like the color brown and your shoes are brown, something like that. Fallacious crap. Okay, so I've pointed out that yes, I'll say I'm a feminist in the sense that I believe in some affirmative sensitivity being exercised in understanding the condition of being a woman. Okay, and it's primarily based on 3 things. I'm grateful to have a penis. Really grateful. I'm really happy I don't have a period. And I really like that I don't get pregnant. So those 3 are big ones. And then I also like that I have liberty. I can go for a walk in the woods and I don't have to really worry about the molester coming. I don't have to worry about predators attacking me. Being vulnerable, having to always hang around in clubs and groups. I don't have to do all that crap, and I appreciate that. And I recognize that because I have those liberties and freedoms and I enjoy them, that I should be appreciative of the people that don't, and to recognize a responsibility, sort of like recognizing that somebody has no legs. You might try to cut them a break here and there. But not thinking of women as disabled, just different, whatever it is. Actively different, funly different, but I just can't imagine the fun without a penis. But anyway, besides the point. See, that's my non-feminism when I say things like that. But like I said, politically I'm a feminist, and so yes, I want to vote for anything that slaps men in the face now and then just says, oh, shut up. Especially when they say silly things like, if a woman doesn't go to the cops, and get molested by the system, she wasn't raped. Silly thing. Just absolutely silly. And then when they defend things like, well, if a woman gets drunk and goes unconscious, I can take advantage. And there's men saying shit like that. That it's a woman's fault. Oh, she wore a mini skirt. She was asking for it. It was like when she went to the woods wearing, a necklace of, prime rib. And so it's not the mountain lion's fault. That kind of bullshit. And so when you hear that bullshit, it just makes you knee-jerk a reaction, which is, oh, fuck that. Yeah, fuck that. And so you almost want all men squashed because of, petty little weaselly men like this, who defend that kind of nonsensical and immature and that entitlement crap, especially when they haven't demonstrated themselves to be any kind of true master of the world. No real deep. So anyway, I'm not saying there aren't some liabilities being male. I mean, being disposable and useless, that kind of sucks. In terms of an evolutionary thing, to be the bear food, well, that sucks. That's a role to play. Loser, that's what most men are supposed to be, is the loser. Get killed by the alpha and he gets all the women. Lots of natural rules that suck. But that really doesn't have anything to do with the social contract and the idea of living a civilized life and all of that kind of crap, and trying to make things as pleasant as possible in terms of us being able to interact with each other, even when we live on our different planets. You know, not to be throwing stuff into the gravity of the other planets, you know, making a mess and whatnot. And that's what these kind of buffoons do, is just make a mess. So yeah, so it's not a, you know, people can imply that somehow he's a hypocrite because he doesn't respect women properly. You know, in his like, he'll say something stupid or skanky cunt or whatever. It might sound like that's an unfeminist thing to do. But I would argue that whatever that is, that's defects in my personality, has nothing to do with the political statement. And, you know, it might just be a biology thing. I just don't feel like stepping past some of the biology shit. And, but I recognize that it's just biology, and it should have nothing to do with whether a woman can take a walk in the park without worrying about getting raped. And part of the reason why she has to worry is because other men enable wrong-headed fucktards into thinking they're entitled to something. That's the way nature made me, a rapey. No. You just can't use that kind of bullshit excuse in 2017. It's just a bullshit excuse for being a taker of any kind. So anyway, so he makes these videos implying that, okay, I'm going to demonstrate that Inmendham's mannerisms aren't feminist enough. Well, go ahead, knock yourself out. That's right. I'm not much of a feminist in bed or in certain circumstances. I don't really worry about it. But like I said, as a political statement, I'm going to say it, and I'm going to defend the idea that men do have to be conscious in the real world, not in the bedroom, of the fact that women should have every opportunity they have, and that if they have certain liabilities, and it costs you 2 cents to respect that, you know, like for example the fact that they might need a few more sick days or something. It's just a fact, and get over yourselves. Alright, anyway, I just, you know, so it's just a petty argument. And so the first 10 minutes was pretty petty. You know, and I took notes, but there's not much to say. I mean, he's accusing me of straw manning because I'm defending myself against his straw man arguments, which is, you know, hilarious. And he calls this some sort of feminist thing, he calls it, even though you describe exactly what your feminism is based on. I had 3 sisters. I worked for women who I saw underpaid and maligned for years, and very competent. They earned it, and they didn't get what they earned, and that was bullshit. And then we all live with the liability of the culture and what it does to people, and we know that the culture pushes men and pushes women in directions, and some of that is very insidious, in the sense that, you know, the role that women take or are pushed into is really quite preposterously silly. I mean, they're definitely wearing the clown suit, and you know, men are pushed to be President of the United States or the greatest athlete ever, or, you know, some good thing. Why women are pushed to be, you're a marginal character, you have little roles to play, you do little silly things. And that's just disgusting. But there's this weird line that I draw where I say, I mean, I don't want women free to be as shitty as the dumbest man on earth. I mean, I don't, you know, I'm not really for the liberty of women to be belching, farting, smelly, barbecue chewing NASCAR fans or something. That's pretty gross. I'm not saying they shouldn't have the right. I'm just saying it's not what I want to see feminism do, is convert perfectly good women into shitty men with no penis, but I think they have one or something. Anyway, so yeah, I don't want women to become pigs. But I think they should have the right to, if they can't think of anything better. And apparently in some respects they can't. I mean, they did vote for Trump, a lot of women. A lot more than you would think would. My sisters did. I thought they were semi-intelligent, and then, it turns out they're dumb fucking cunts. Just stupid as stupid sticks can be. And you're just saying, what the fuck is that? And then it just comes to you, and you say, oh yeah, it's that whatever Helsinki syndrome, where the where the slaves start empathizing with the master. And you see that, you see it in men, you see it in women, where they get some kind of like oversensitivity, and then they just become insane. There's women hating women, and there's men hating men. I mean, I sort of have some of that. I have to say that a lot of men disappoint me because they just I don't really go for that whole fanny packy thing. Like, let me pretend I'm a modern man and I really want to wipe babies' butts and kind of shit like that. That's really gross. For me personally. But anyway, again, everybody should have the right to maturate into whatever. I just don't think, I think there has to be some consciousness. I guess that's all I'm arguing for. That the statements and the rhetoric of people, grab 'em by the pussy, and then the alternative, this whole this wimpy pussy shit that you hear from, I don't even know what you call them, but it's way too enabling for people who are psychologically disabled, not in any physical way disabled. But anyway, I don't get into that whole pile of shit either. And it's a very dangerous minefield of bullshit you have to navigate. And but again, there's no. The contest is, I'm saying, and overtly, I'm advocating for. I say no harm, no foul to having some sort of rational perspective regarding, even if the courts are a little bit biased in favor of women, makes sense, in terms of who's going to take care of kids. Because I've seen how men do it, right? See, they sit in their little man cave with all their little toys, right? And they'll have the baby, like, tied to the chair over there, They really don't give a shit. And women, how many women have you seen? They have their little whatever, fake baby in the form of some little dog, and they sit there and they feed it by hand and wipe its ass and do, So women are better at that shit. There's some sort of machine brain stuff that goes on that makes that sometimes somehow a good time for women. And it's not a good time for a man. He'll do it out of obligation. He won't do it out of, ooh, this'll be fun. No. Anyway. So then it came down to this argument where he basically made the argument like, well, what do you know? Women like having periods. No, I never have seen one woman testify to saying, I love having a period. No. Now, pregnancy, some of them say, yes, I like being pregnant. But I think most women, if you could cut it down to like 3 days of pregnancy and, it comes out as easy as a poo, they'd say, great, let's take the trouble out of this being pregnant thing, because it's no fun at all. And if you give them, vaginas that had actual remote controls that worked, I think they'd appreciate that. Have some more rational buttons on that damn thing. But he says, what do I know? I'm not a woman, so therefore I can't have a judgment. Again, I don't have one. All I'm saying is, I'm damn glad to have a penis. I'm damn glad not to have a period. And I'm damn glad not to get pregnant. I know that for fucking sure, idiot. Little flathead, or whatever it is. Guess it is round and green, but anyway. Anyway. So that was as stupid as the argument gets. It doesn't get any dumber than that somehow. I can't understand. No, I can understand. I've never been a woman. I don't really need to be one. Okay? I can see that I'm sitting in a pretty good mushroom compared to the frickin' fungus they're sitting on. You know, just the urinary tract things, all the stuff they go, menopause, you know, and then all their all those estrogen hormone-y things. You just don't eat soy. No good for you. Anyway, so and again, it comes down to just simple things: the liberty to be able to do things in society, be a bit of a slut. You know, without saying, because I'm being a slut, that means I want to be raped. I mean slut in the sense of, you know, putting on a show. But see, that's another thing I know as a man. You know, this whole idea that being judging women based on, are you attractive, and do you arouse me sexually, and to place so much value in relationships on that superficiality is just a tragedy of our circumstance. And if you thought about it in kind of fair terms, like what if there was just one sex and we all had to play that kind of game, I don't think we'd like it. I mean, I don't think it would be much fun to have to play roles like that where your value diminishes so greatly if you lose your looks. And where, you know, most men aren't feeling much pressure, obviously. You know, they can gain a few pounds, and they can do this. And I mean, it's another one of these huge liberties where their value can be their wallet or something else. Where for men, you know, even if a woman's got a lot of money, still ain't going to necessarily make your dick hard. So it's doesn't, you know, it's a different, you know, it's just, I'm just saying there has to be some concession to, we're not all the same, and some of the sameness people can't do anything about, these physical differences. And if the physical differences are going to cause reactions in people that we see happen, raping and such, there has to be a sensitivity to that and some sense of responsibility socially for that, and to take whatever little few measures it takes to fix it, like saying to men, don't rape. Well, I don't think that's too harsh a burden. Like I said, I wouldn't care if they implanted a little whatever radar device in everybody, and so we could, you know, catch the perpetrators on whatever radar tape, being in the wrong place at the wrong time, doing the wrong thing. But anyway, so I'll play some more of this. I'll just jump through it. But this is where I just stopped watching, because he just completely lies about what I have said in the past. So in the past, in an open room, I was arguing in defense of the fact that, you know, women are perfectly capable of making contracts, and I was arguing from my own personal perspective. That's what it was, my personal perspective. That, you know, I don't sleep with women without there being a thorough understanding that, look, I'm going to take every responsible means not to get you pregnant. Okay, I'll wear 2 condoms. You'll take the pill. We'll do whatever we have to do. We'll do. But if it fails, you're getting an abortion, and that's sort of understood. And that I explained that, you know, having kids, in my opinion, is worse than murder. Okay, it's a crime of risk. You know, killing somebody, you know, that's almost meaningless because most people's lives aren't going anywhere anyway. Just the truth. And no risk of torture. You do it right. But having a kid, you're risking absolute torture. You're risking having a kid that's defective, and society's not going to let you snuff it. And so it's just going to be tortured. That's a huge risk. And it's a risk I won't take. And yeah, I don't sleep with people who don't understand that, and that we're making a contract. And it's about one of the most important things you can possibly do as a human being. And if you can't keep your word on that one, well, we got trouble. And so my argument would be, even if we were all just one sex and there was this capacity for us to do both roles, does Quintica think my standards would be different? If I was negotiating with a male for these same things, do you think I would have some different standard? Or would I apply the same standard? So this isn't a question of feminism. Now, you might not like my attitude that I think people have a right to say certain things. There's certain lines they're going to draw in certain sand and say, this is where I go nuts. You know, push this button on me, fuck you. It's over. I'm not playing the game that way. And so yeah, I'm declaring I have my buttons. Everybody has them, and this is one of my buttons. So fuck you. I'm entitled to have them. I'm entitled to say that my life doesn't mean anything if these certain minimums can't be appreciated, respected. You know, you can have different opinions. It's like this whole United Airlines thing. As much as I like Asians and all kinds of stuff like that, and I don't like little Asian doctors getting all beat up and shit, fuck, you're getting a cheap ticket for this very reason. You want first class, then pay for first class. But you didn't pay for first class, so fuck you. I mean, if they ask you to get off their plane, you have to get off their plane, jackass. This is fucking stupid. So anyway, yeah, I mean, there's no, you know, anyway, all right. So let's play along. So this is what part, like I said, where he takes that time in the open room where I'm defending the idea that a contract is a contract and I have a right to act. And so she just basically states that I say, you know, if a woman decides to get pregnant, I would push her downstairs. And that's not what I'm saying. There's a whole premise to before it gets to that he ignored. And it's like the most important part is the subject was, what should contracts regarding such personal, intimate matters, should they mean to people? Should we have respect for those intimate contracts, those personal, handshake, right in your face contracts? Or do you have no respect for them? Now, I would argue that the traditional male role, the man who would stand face to face with each other with their dueling pistols, well, back to back to start, those kind of men would find men who don't think contracts should matter as kind of disgusting little weasels. Just one of the ironies. By that history, in my opinion, and we should take steps to keep ourselves mindful of that, and that would be the extent of my feminism. Yes, the feminism should exist as long as there's idiot males saying things stupid like, if a woman doesn't go to the cops, she wasn't raped, or stupid things like, she shouldn't wear a miniskirt. Yeah, then I'm going to be a feminist. For protecting women, women should have the right not to be raped, and they should have a right to be able to go places without the threat of being molested.
Okay, well, see, this is where the hypocrisy starts coming in, right? Okay, now...
So again, it's hypocrisy because that political statement about what the law should be and how society should be having its philosophical conversation has something to do, somehow, with my personal statement about me not having children and making a contract with women. Again, all of this crap is about contracts. These are always petty men who recklessly have kids with women, and most of these whatever they are, anti-justice warrior types, are all bitter losers who made shitty deals, and then they're bitching now. So they're like the guy on the airplane saying, well, I signed the contract, yeah, I bought the cheap ticket, you know, That's right, I fucked a dumb whore, and then she did dumb whory things. Shit.
You had said on live stream, and I reposted this. A bunch of people reposted it.
Yeah, yes, you've done it. That's right. And then you say somebody else did it, like calling the cops and having them at my front door. Oh yeah, I did it, but well, somebody did that. Yeah. You're such an asshole.
Just because this is classic Inmendham.
And that's classic you. You know, go to, you know, send little weaselly emails to Fred's employers. Send the cops to my front door. Yeah, that's you all over, Mr. CIA agent.
You went off on this rant where you said that if you knocked up a woman...
So if I knocked up a woman, that's not what I said. Okay, so again, see, that's just, again, just ignore the truth and be a fucking liar. That's all you cunts can do is just lie, lie, lie.
Your girlfriend. If you knocked her up and she was pregnant, you would tell her that she has to get an abortion.
Yeah, no, that's not what would happen. I would tell her before I knocked her up. Okay, that this is the agreement. If we can't agree on that, then we're doing blowjobs and stuff. My penis is not going in your vagina, okay, unless you agree to the terms of the contract. That's the deal. Okay, no penis in vagina until we settle this. Otherwise, it's some other kind of fun. But it's not going to be vaginal sex.
Or she's going down the stairs. And then you clarified that when people ask you. Or
I didn't clarify shit. I said it right from the very start. That's the deal. So again, there was no clarification. There was just a haranguing from weasels like you that somehow, hey, contracts don't mean anything. Women can't make a contract. That's your argument.
Or protested against what you said. You clarified that you would kill the bitch, right? So you have on one side you have your feminist.
I don't know the difference, but I'm just saying the obviously I don't know where he got that from, but regardless, the point is that I'm just pointing out how this is a kind of a deal where there is no escape. There's no future once this thing happens. There's doom. And I'm not going to be part of creating doom. So there's going to be some other doom that's going to happen to prevent that doom. Because I'm not going to let that doom happen.
Very nice, very flowery, very soft, very feminine, right? And on your other side you have your I would kill the bitch, right?
Now, there's no two sides. Again, one's a political thing. One's a statement about the condition of the relationships in society between men and women. And the other is, yeah, I'm a man. It's not that complicated. So you want to say that those are two separate things. It's like I can't possibly be a human being that has the same genetic code as some caveman, 100,000 years ago. And I can't possibly behave differently than that caveman. And of course I can. So I have a brain. That's what brains enable you to do. Just to think and contextualize and understand. So I can have all kinds of impulses. I can fart. Brain fart. And say something absolutely, ignorant. But in the context of the whole sandwich, that little piece of crud isn't going to mean anything. Because the sandwich is well made.
Have that aspect of your toxic masculinity. I think that...
I don't know. Is that what you consider it? So again, it's only toxic if you turn it into, like your racism, no doubt. No doubt you vote as a racist because that's your real, gut feeling and you can't help yourself. So you can't overcome any element of your sickness. So any sickness you have to sit there and pose on everybody else because you think it's defendable. I'm not defending our biology. I'm only saying it's a fact, and there's certainly ways of making it possible for our biologies to interact without things having to go downstairs. We just do this in a civilized manner, and that's okay. I don't rape unconscious women. Yeah, wow. Ooh, too much of a burden.
That's what they call it. And see, you're not balancing these out. But see, the thing is that, okay, guys could have different...
You're lying. So, I mean, you know, with this accusation from a guy who can't tell the truth, I mean, fuck. What do you know about balance, liar?
Degrees of this, just like women could have different degrees of the way that they're aggressive towards men or towards relationships.
And again, what is that again? So just all this constant attempt to say social policy should be personal, and it just can't be. It has to just be something you try to arrange and you try to understand that, yes, there needs to, in my opinion, every time a man defends rape, there needs to be a statement, another billboard that says, that fucker's a dumb asshole.
But not all guys feel that way, and not all women feel that way.
Yeah, but there's lots of people like you apologizing for the ones feeling that way, and that's the problem. So as long as you keep apologizing for rapists, I'm going to have to keep making statements about how rape be bad and wrong, and you're a fucktard. You don't know what it is to be a civilized human.
And maybe there are some things that are throwbacks, right? You have people that are more sexual, right? Sexual beings or whatever they call themselves.
Yeah, something you wouldn't know anything about, clearly. Anyway, so we'll move along a little. But all this cheap, I mean, you can't get cheaper than this multicolored pageantry of psychobabble, disguised as some kind of philosophy, some sort of political argument. Not even close.
Every male with ankle bracelets on their ankles. I don't see, the being accountable as individuals is something I'm for. And, people find that threat of they're watching me. Yeah, well, maybe they should be. Because it seems everybody must be cheating or something because they're afraid of the inspector.
Well, now, you have this paranoid delusion that cops came to your house and that I sent cops...
Oh, wait a minute. Okay, look, there's no delusion about it. Okay, I was doing a live stream when the cops came to the door, so there's no delusion.
...to your house, and you had a big problem with people watching you, right? Now,
I don't know. Where's that? Explain.
I don't know if cops ever came to your house. I don't...
Well, so right there we know he's just lying overtly, right? So anything he says about not being involved must be a lie because he's got to fucking goddamn know that it happened in a live room. So, I mean, jeez. And like I said, the two witnesses say he told them he did it, so...
I don't know why they would come to your house.
But they were lying women, so... Yeah, maybe they're just full of shit.
I've heard rumors, but they're just rumors. I cannot prove them. Well, I guess I could prove them if I called the cops or whatever, but I would rather not waste their time because they're busy doing cop things.
Yeah, so he's a defender of cops. Yeah, right. Busy doing cop things. Like going to people's doors after assholes call them.
And stuff. But here... You are a hermit. You are a person that lives out by yourself.
So again, just more irrelevant personal rubbish. You're ugly, okay? You're an ugly fucking short, petty little man trying to compensate for your little tiny micro penis and trying to aggrandize yourself into some sort of interesting life, like you actually know somebody or you actually interact with anybody. You have a lawn chair, as a chair, for fuck's sake. I mean, at least I, on a hermit income, can do better than that.
I'm in a city, but I'm kind of the same way in that respect. I'm kind of a hermit, right?
You're kind of an asshole and a loser and a turd. So anyway, let's jump ahead.
I'm just distracted by Trump's concern that the IRS looks into his finances when he doesn't pay federal taxes for 20 years and he finds it bothersome that they would bother to look.
Yeah, actually, Rachel Maddow had a show on that, and they tried to get him on that, and he did release tax forms. But what Trump's doing is he's only releasing what he wants to release or what he has to release. Or what he...
Well, no, it's what he cares to. Yeah, that's right. Because there just happens to be no law, just a fucking tradition. And, yeah, fuck traditions, right? So, these are the males who are totally devoted to traditions. Grab 'em by the pussy.
So anyway, so he's using this argument as if somehow my feminism is in doubt, or some sort of hypocrisy regarding my feminism. I mean, feminism is just basically supporting good legislation that protects women from harassment. I'm for that.
And what would that be? Do you have any examples at all?
Yes, wife beating. There's a ton of bullshit that goes on in our society, and it happens all the time. It's just bullshit to play a game that you don't know what it is and why there needs to be laws against it and all that shit. So fuck you, you're an idiot.
Stairs. And then you told Piero and you told Athena live that you would kill this hypothetical girl.
Yes, and I explained the context of that contract. I'm just saying that if you're saying before you interact with somebody, look, this is a button you can't press on me. Okay, this is like, you know, sacred. it's just a non-starter. Okay, lots of things we can disagree about, but we can't disagree about this one. And if you're not going to take this seriously, well then just get the fuck out of here. Because I'm taking it seriously. Get it?
That's pregnant with your kid because you said that they don't get it. It's a contract between two people, and you are not bringing a kid into this world. So right there's your inconsistency. Right there's the hypocrisy. Right.
It's inconsistent to say contracts should matter when women make them. That's not feminism. No, that is feminism. But I'll just let you understand. If I made a contract with a male that was just as sacred and we shook hands, there's lots of men who kill each other over violations of those kind of contracts, agreements between them. You make an agreement, not to let your dog shit on some guy's lawn. There's been people killed over that. All right? And I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I'm just saying that, if some asshole promises and then he turns back and he, fucks the guy, I say he gets fucked. I'm good with that. I'd like there to be a mob that actually did the right thing. A godfather who went out and just took care of all these assholes who fuck people with their lies.
Now, how many times do you want me to do this to show that you're a complete fucking hypocrite?
Okay, so you're showing that you're a complete hypocrite in that you don't think contracts should mean anything. And you don't think you're such a chauvinist that you don't think women can make contracts that are ironclad like between men. Yeah, bullshit.
All of your fans. I could go through this video and nitpick.
That's all this is bullshit nitpicking. That's all you got. You're just a little petty nitpicker. A little pussy nitpicker.
Too dumb to figure out the inconsistencies. So maybe they'll see this and they'll see that I pointed it out made it a little bit easier for them. But yeah, you've contradicted yourself through this whole video.
Yeah, well, whatever. There's no contradictions in this video. So that's just a pile of shit.
Certain failures happen, and what the expectation is regarding having abortions and all that stuff, and we now have the capacity to do all of that stuff and record the conversation even.
Let me explain something about female physiology. Okay, if they're pregnant.
Email? I don't even know what that was.
They're going to be more emotional than normal.
Okay, again, it's not the subject. When they make the agreement, they're not all emotional. If they're going to say, I'm a woman and I get to do things that are just wacky, then I'm saying, okay, we're done having a conversation. And if you think that's the way that women are incapable. Well, again, that's one of your chauvinistic attitudes. I'd make the argument that men are just as incapable of keeping contracts, and your type of backstabby, sneaky, weaselly type is the example of that, Mr. I think I'm a CIA agent.
I think, but this is very. This is kind of disturbing how little you know about women.
Yeah, right. Coming from this guy, I don't think you've. I mean, I really don't think the animals you've had relationships with were women.
Difficult to negotiate a good contract, and so these men who want to complain about the contract because they didn't negotiate a good one. And what is that but whining? So.
That would make you chief numero uno whiner, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
How so? I'm saying I want to make a contract, good contract, make a good contract, videotape the contract. So what am I whining about? We're talking about the traditional male who just sits there and says, I'll agree to anything to get the pussy. And then he doesn't want the obligations that are part of that recklessness. The 4 kids later, and then he whines about, well, what do you mean I can't just switch wives? Isn't that my male right?
But it's a real burden. Children, having them, actually producing one, and then the care and maintenance of them is a huge responsibility. And you got to take responsibility for playing a role in that, or in some way enabling. But anyway, so. Whatever. So my feminism isn't in doubt. Now the fact that I'm...
Yeah, your feminism is in doubt. You have no doubt about it, but everyone who has seen you on the internet doubts your feminism.
Well, again, you can't... What, they're going to doubt the fact that they don't think I have voted for feminist ideology? They think that somehow I've ever supported somebody who says something like, grab him by the pussy? No. Not going to happen.
A crude person, in some respects, is a fact, and maybe even rude. But I mean, again, Quintika's trying to make it into something, and it's nothing. I mean, I talked to Mike, Bayul, I said things like, I'd like to rub your hiney or something, and I'd like to molest you. I think he even said that. It wasn't completely insincere, and sometimes you say things to women that maybe it is inappropriate, but it's just functionally it's a little bit difficult to turn off your realization, recognizing women for what they are. It's like when you see a donut or something.
Okay, I get that. I get that. It's like okay, let's pull out little Gary here. Okay, so it's like when you see. Let's see, where is it? Oh, there we go. When you see this woman, this girl, okay, you get a visual, right? And you lock onto her eyes, okay? Then your eyes go right to her tits, right? And then you feel all tingly, like right in these regions here. You feel tingly, right? Okay? And that's your toxic masculinity telling you that.
Yeah, so again, to him, that's not dangerous to sit there and say, what does my penis say do? So yeah, everybody understands what it is to be attracted to women, okay? That it's attracted to women or attracted to whoever they're attracted, whatever stimulates them sexually. And we have to learn through our whole life that you don't just live on that. You don't just say, oh, I have a boner, I'm going to fuck you. So this is an inanely stupid argument to make. Because I'm just saying that, yes, we play you can't help but be distracted. But that doesn't mean your politics change. That doesn't mean you lose all capacity to understand the wrongness of rape. I mean, the line isn't that difficult to draw between good touch and bad touch. And we all know what the bad touch is. The taking. You're not allowed to take. They all see things every day you want. You see a car, a Lamborghini sitting in a parking lot. You say, I want it. You know you can't take it. So this more silly little puppetry, just from a very petty and small person who has puppets. Ew.
Hey, this might be a cool thing. It really,
Jump
really
ahead.
sucks. I put a lot of work into making it look strange, right? My videos and that. But I do have a lot of videos where I don't have effects. I have a lot of videos where I've shown my face, a lot of videos where I've shown my face to you. We've done live hangouts together where I've shown my face to you. So...
no, we haven't. So whatever that is. Together? No. Yes, you were in a room and I was in a room, and I probably said something like, well, I'd rather he wasn't in the room. So maybe I'm going home. Creepy fuck.
Religionness to it, as if there's some sort of dogma or some sort of.
Yeah, I had a girl Inmendham puppet I wanted to use too, but I forgot all about that. I missed my cue.
No, they're all just logical.
You're not saying anything important anyway, so I might as well just talk over you, right?
Evolution and determinism is overtly called us robots. I mean.
Right. So it's not important that you listen to the videos you're critiquing, right? Okay. Got it.
There is this religious aspect to all of this.
Oh, this is the good part, the religion part again. Let's see if YouTube's doing its little swirly bit here. Unfortunately. Well, let's try a little earlier, see if it's still swirly bits. Okay, so 31-ish plus. So we'll reload and see if we can get the same location close enough.
Channels in that, you were an inspiration in that, though it's not your fault, right? I can't blame you for that, and they can't or shouldn't blame you or should not have blamed you for that. But you helped inspire that. Now, are they better off? I don't know. I really don't. But there is...
Somebody's better off being a vegetarian, maybe? Yeah, they're better off.
There's this religious aspect to all of this. You tend to think you know more. You tend to think you're the enlightened one. And...
Well, you tend to do that when every argument you get from idiots like you is premised on lies. Just overt lies. You just lie about what I said. Idiotic straw man arguments, just wheelbarrows full of red herring. Then yeah, you get pretty confident that shit, this is too easy.
Everything else is garbage and shit and whatever, the world is suck. And then when somebody calls you on that, you're like, oh, well, I suck too, everything sucks and this and that, but you got to listen to me because I'm the voice of authority.
Well, none of that ever happened. So again, these are your misparaphrases about how I am somehow saying something wrong or religious or hypocritical, and here you are just overtly lying about what I actually say, which is never said the words, you have to listen to me. It never happened. Nothing ever like that happened. I make arguments on the internet. I make arguments. The full, complete argument is made by me. From the rudimentary bits to the mid-level to the very peak. I explain the entire structure of the pyramid of thought. So there is no just take my word for it. Ever in any of my videos. Ever. You liar!
And you've used this excuse before about not taking yourself out, which I wouldn't like to see you take yourself out. I think you'd be good to stick around a while. But...
Yeah, well, whatever. In jail. Yeah, right. Fuck you.
If you...
I'm sorry, I can't extend the same well wish to you, because yes, I just think you're a toxic piece of human turd. Just a compulsive liar who's just talking shit. Ignorant, dumb, crude, psychological shit.
When you're confronted with that, it's like, well, no, somebody has to spread the word. Somebody has to spread the message, right?
Well, they have to compose it first. Yes, and then you spread it. That's sort of the idea. I don't know what other way you get policy implemented but to do that. That's what it requires. So if you want to see something change in the world, that's how the change happens. You don't just say, I'm going to think change and then change will happen. No. There's a process, and this is inevitably the process. You go out there and you have to make an argument and convince people. Now, if you want to argue I'm not convincing people in an honest manner, with honest arguments and detailed arguments, go ahead and make that accusation. But anybody fair is going to say, whoa, you blew it there. That's a shitty, that's just crap, because obviously he's spent a great deal of his time explaining why he thinks what he thinks.
And this that a lot of that does reek of insincerity, but a lot of that also goes to this whole Messiah complex, this Jesus complex. So.
Right, I've only solicited somebody else to do the Jesusing. I've said, look, the more the merrier. If somebody else wanted to be the king disciple, fine. However you want to metaphor that in terms of role playing. But I'm perfectly willing just to be the guy who lifts boxes in the background. Puts boxes on the truck. I'm not seeking a particular role. I'm just saying there's a positive thing to get accomplished here, and this bridge needs to be built, so to speak. And I don't really care whether I'm the designer, or I'm the polisher, or I'm the welder, or I don't care whether I'm a piece of asphalt, smashed into the pavement. I'm just going to play my role, whatever that is. Whatever the best role I can play is, I'm going to try to find that asshole. There's absolutely nothing irrational about that.
You're suffering so other people can have it easier, so that you can take them to the promised land, right? So Inmendham, Gary's going to lead everybody. You too, Gary's going to lead everybody to the promise.
Right, so anybody who advocates for curing a disease or doing anything is advocating for the promised land. So anything you attempt to do that you believe will be a socially good consequence, or getting to some destination. Again, everybody's supposed to just do some silly journey thing, and nobody's supposed to have any vision thing about where the fuck we're actually going, and actually point at a better future. Say, see, there it is over there in my imagination. Okay, let's head there. That's not rational. That's being a religious kook. No, that's being rational. You're the nutter.
This land. It's kind of a joke, don't you think?
You're a joke.
Nobody seriously calls religions something connected to evolution, determinism, and robotics and mechanisms. And it's just
Scientology.
No, Scientology believes in aliens and UFOs and volcanoes, idiot. They have a whole hierarchy that's built on mystical top-down knowledge again. So, wrong. Just, wrong answer again. You got it wrong. You fucked up again with the facts. Wrong again on the facts.
There you go.
So it's just another petty, cheap, blah, blah, blah. And, so he has an excuse to use some kind of cult word as if, again, there's absolutely no evidence that I do anything at all to engage with my flock and to fondle them into dependency on me. And any of the cliche cult leader behavior, none of it's no apparent or existing in my behavior.
None whatsoever.
So again,
yeah, that's one of those things called a fact. I know you don't like facts, because they get in the way of your lies and propaganda. Oh, you sick fucker.
Hypocrisy is beyond question. And it's obvious and overt, so aggressive.
Yeah, you're paranoid.
And
you're delusional paranoid,
like
Gary.
Saying, I love
That's what happens when you seal yourself up all alone.
Yeah, not that you don't respect them.
Alone. So lonely.
So he's just talking over the video. This was part where he does, he's obviously, well, anyway. obviously has no respect for anybody but himself.
For a guy.
Intellectual rigidity or solidness. And so one of these talkers gets to them, and they flop. And it's just kind of a girly thing to do. It's just kind of messy. And it pisses me off.
You're not girly.
I hate flip-floppers. I know that's a political term now, but I hate these people who talk and then change their mind every 3 months. I mean, it's just bogus. If you don't know what the fuck you're talking about, shut the fuck up. And so it was more of a reaction to the fact. And so, anyway, women, I cut them slack.
But Gary, we shouldn't censor these people. We should let them talk. You should...
Censor who? Well, anyway, so that doesn't even mean anything. I make the salient point that noisemakers, okay, I mean people who are passionate about something completely different every 3 months, in the sense that they're complete philosophers. I'm a Buddhist. Oh no, I'm not. I'm a atheist. No, I'm a Catholic. I mean that kind of shit is too silly, too stupid. Yes, do that in your bathroom or something. Don't do that in public.
But he's doing it in the Westworld kind of sense, which is more like the transhumanism or making robots or something that would be more human-like and all that kind of stuff. And to me, it's just a waste of resources. Our senses are so easily fooled. A little bit of some chemistry, the right drug, and plug an iPod in, and you can.
God, this is a long-ass, boring video, Gary.
I used to have dreams where I was.
Yeah, well, I wouldn't know what your videos are like because, yes, they're unwatchable. So, okay. We agree. Yeah, I mean, that's probably the way it should be seen. You should find my videos boring because there's nothing in your brain that understands the value or meaning of words and things like integrity and making arguments that are rational. So, of course, you should find it boring, just as I find your videos worthy of vomit.
Yes, I'm trying to be really sincere.
Egos and playing out like we're somehow entitled to a future because we had a past. And that gets me back to the Boundless Eyes, one of the Boundless Eyes videos. She was making excuses about vegetarianism. And it was it's the kind of arguments.
Hey, I'm going to skip through a few things because this is
getting but they're way
boring.
So, it's almost like a stupid feral cat argument that I want to really make some videos about. Let's cut their nuts off and throw them back on the street to get run over by cars, and that's a wonderful solution.
They can't.
And I don't find that very functional with it.
So, you can't deal with any of these, too many subjects, I guess. He's a one-subject kind of guy. Where's the woman's face so I can punch it?
Unless there's some bitter unpleasantness to be prevented, or some perceived good, which is a satisfied ambition or desire, which again is a negative state corrected.
Playing music over my video. Still doing that.
I was thinking it's mainly, but probably I didn't like.
Never doing this because this is really, really tiring. The style on it, and even some of the interesting subjects were kind of he made it sound really bad, so really boring. So anyway, so another
it's whatever. Yeah, this guy has just much watch TV here. It's pretty colors. Well, except I hate magenta. Oh, creepy. And I don't know, diarrhea green doesn't really appeal to me either. I like this blue color. Mostly. God. Fuck this planet. In the ass till dead.